So I'm not feeling really good today. I have a cold or something. Maybe it's my allergies. I don't know. But today I want to talk to you really quick about mistakes that I've seen new wholesalers make. Well, not even new wholesalers, new investors. So one time I received a call from a guy. He's a young guy. I think I'm 36 years old. So this guy, to me, he's young. He was like 25 or something like that. And he called me because he saw me online or something, or he probably got my number from someone else, and he wanted me to buy his house. He said he just bought a house for like, I think he paid like 40K for it, and he said that the house requires too much work. So the guy bought a 3,500 square foot house in a neighborhood where there's mostly 1,000 to 1,200 square foot houses. So he bought a 3,500 square foot house thinking that he could sell it for the price per square foot that the other houses in that neighborhood were selling for. So the neighborhood that he bought this house in, like I said, the other houses in this neighborhood were selling for around $100 a square foot after they're fixed up. So these are the houses, and they're selling for $100 a square foot each. $100 a square foot each. Okay. So he bought a house in this neighborhood that was 3,500 square feet. So all of these are 1,000 square feet. Okay. Um, so they're 1,000, around 1,000 square feet, and they're selling for $100 a square foot. He bought his house for 40,000 in a foreclosure or something like that. He bought it for 40,000, and like I said, his house was 3,500 square feet. So you know what he thought? He thought that he was going to be able to sell this house for $350,000 because he was like, "Oh yeah, everything else in this neighborhood is selling for $100 a square foot. If I buy this house, I can sell it for 350." But what a lot of new wholesalers or new investors, not just wholesalers, a lot of new investors don't understand this. People in this scenario here, people do not want to pay $350,000 for a house in a neighborhood surrounded by other houses that are not like the subject house. So people in this neighborhood, for instance, someone does not want to pay for a 3,500 square foot house in a neighborhood where other houses are around 1,000 square feet. So essentially, you have 100,000 square foot, $100,000 houses, and then you have this house here that he thought could be worth $350,000. But like I was saying, people don't want to spend that much to stay in a neighborhood like this. They don't want to spend $350,000 to stay in a neighborhood where all the other houses are worth $100,000. These are different classes of people. You know what I mean? So he should have understood that. He should have understood that if he really looked at the market. But what a lot of new investors do, they do just like what this guy did. They look at what the houses are selling for in the neighborhood by price per square foot, and then they see a house like this one for 3,500 square foot or square feet or 2,500 square feet, and they're like, oh, okay, I can get $250,000 or $350,000 for this house, since the other houses in the neighborhood are selling for $100 a square foot. That's not how it works, bro. You have to understand the neighborhood as well. People who want to spend $350,000 on a house will not spend that much money on a house in this neighborhood. They will go to neighborhoods where houses are between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet and spend $350,000, you know, on a house. So you have to look at that. You have to understand the neighborhood. You know, it was really naive for this guy to think that he could, sell this house for $350,000 surrounded by all these other houses, and then this neighborhood was an older neighborhood. I think the year built in this neighborhood was the average was around 1950. So he bought this house and for 40K. Like I said, he bought it for 40K, and he was thinking that he would just, fix it up and get it to brand new condition and he can sell it for 350. But he was wrong. So he realized this later on after he bought the house. He realized he couldn't sell it for that much, because no one is willing to pay $350,000 to stay in a neighborhood that's really a $100,000 neighborhood. No one will do that. So he realized his mistake. So when he called me, he was trying to sell it for, I think he was trying to sell this for 80,000. I think he was trying to sell it to me for 80K. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't think the house could sell for no more than $150,000. And it needed everything. And look, we're talking about 3,500 square feet. That's a lot of square footage to remodel and to renovate. So, it would have been easily past $100,000. The renovation cost would have been easily $100,000. So Reno, 100K. It would have been easy. I mean, it would have been more than that, but it would have been at least that to get it to like livable condition. Now, as far as like making it sellable, like making it marketable enough to sell it quickly, it would have taken more than this, more than 100K. But to get it to like livable condition, like put a floor in, put walls in, and all that, it would have took like $100,000. And see, now you at 180K, the house will probably only sell for like 150. This house will only sell for 150. I thought, from what and I came up with this number to sell this price is 150,000. I came up with this just by me knowing the neighborhood. This neighborhood is one of the first neighborhoods I did some wholesaling in. He didn't know that, but I was like, man, there's no way someone, even when he told me about it, I was like, 3,500. He said, yeah, man, it's like 3,500 square feet. I was like, 3,500 square feet. What did you, I asked him, I said, what do you think that it'll sell for? And he said, I think it'll sell for 350. And I just laughed. I was like, no, it's no way that house is, there's no way someone will pay that much to stay in the house. So when you're looking at these houses, it's more than just looking at the price per square foot, what the houses are going for after they're fixed up. Neighborhoods, you make the most money in neighborhoods where all the houses look the same. Not 100% the same, but they look like the other one, the like kind. That's what they call it, like kind housing. This house here was an outlier. You should not have purchased this house thinking that you would sell it for 350K. That was an amateur mistake. But the house could sell for somewhere around 100K, like the other houses. But people make this mistake, and you don't want to make that mistake. You want to make sure that you're looking at the house, at the neighborhood as a whole, and seeing what's the average price, what's the average selling price in this neighborhood. What are these other houses in this neighborhood worth after they're fixed up, and is that price similar to the other houses that are selling in that neighborhood? Are the prices similar? When you run into these outliers in these neighborhoods, because there are some neighborhoods that have outlier properties like this. I think with this property, man, I can't remember. I think that he bought it from a guy who did a lot of additions to this property. I think this property was probably 1,500 square feet or something like that, and I think the previous owner added another 1,500 square feet to this house. In additions, I think he had like a bedroom, a couple bedrooms, bathrooms, or whatever, living room space or whatever. So this house didn't start out with this square footage. This is addition, this is these are all add-ons. So you have outliers like this in neighborhoods. They're kind of rare. I mean, hence the name outlier. But when you do run into outliers like this, to situations like this guy, because I think he lost money. I think he had to sell it for like 40K, like what he paid for it. I think he ended up selling it for 40K. I mean, so he didn't lose money. I mean, maybe he did, because I don't know. He said he started the renovation. So he started doing the fix up in there, but he didn't finish it. So he spent money on materials and, labor, time. That's to me, time is money. So he wasted time and money doing that, doing the labor. But like I said, you run into outliers like this, and you have to recognize them. You have to learn how to recognize them. And see, this guy, he was so new to real estate investing. He was one of these people, these young people that, look online like we're doing now, and learning about real estate investing, and getting excited about it. And, he found this opportunity. I mean, I guess he didn't ask himself why no other investor would have hopped on to this, would have purchased this property, because it was sitting on the market for a long time. Because the guy told me, he was like, yeah, man, it was sitting on the market for a while, and it was at 40K, and I can't believe no one snatched it up, but he did, mistakenly, thinking that he was going to be able to sell it for $350,000 in a neighborhood where most of the homes were selling for 100K. So the point is, you have to look at more than price per square foot. You have to make sure that the house that you're looking at is similar, a like kind property to the other properties in this neighborhood. So it's just a lesson for today. I'll talk to you soon.